New for 96. With your hosts, Kevin McCauley and Chris Nguyen.
Okay, well, I'm cutting this out. I know you said that right after you hit record, so that, so it would get left in. Like, oh, that's how we're starting the show. But
I, as an adult, have used poo-pooed in many professional situations.
I've heard it more times this evening than I've heard it the rest of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
My God. I see.
Yeah. What would we do without this great opening banter?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not even banter. Is this banter? Consider this banter? Maybe.
Is it ever?
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to bang on my...
You've said poo-poo 3 times, so it at least passes the test of our normal programming.
I hate how much of a 12-year-old I am because that made me giggle a little bit when you said
Oh my goodness.
poo-pooed.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm about to make some noise.
Well, the viewers watching this recording also think you're 12 years old.
Fine. You talk for a second because I have to send one more text message. I don't know why we started recording.
This is so because I was glaring at you because you were texting about cars when you should be talking about cars.
Important things. This is for our texting podcast.
Why don't you read the text aloud to the class?
No.
Is there any of this?
I am chatting with a potential seller for...
This is for the gray car from 6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago from our last podcast. Yeah. We've furthered the deal, but it's not my ideal situation. But we'll get into this in a little bit.
Okay.
On this episode of New for 96. All right,
Whoa,
blowing it out here.
So nasally. Wow.
Look at you. Look at what you did.
That was you.
You blew that out.
You were in those upper frequencies here.
We're going to do another New for 96 for you so you can cut this in.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for
3, 2, 1. New for 96.
Okay, I went low. You went really high again.
Yeah. No.
All right, whatever. All right. Don't edit any of that. People need to know the truth.
I wasn't going to. You give me too much credit.
I know.
For once.
Anyways.
Okay, I'll just start talking about how I went to Ohio. And by your focused on your phone... By being focused on your phone, I'll assume you're agreeing and going with it. But I went to Ohio last month, Christopher.
Yes.
For a photo shoot with a car. It was a Nissan Autech Stelvio Zagato, and it was a right-hand drive Nissan purchased by someone named Myron Vernus. And me and our friend Blake, friend of the show, I think one of his shows went live one of those times. I think he has been on one
successfully.
I think he's been on 2 others, not successfully. But he wrote the article for Road and Track, and I took the pictures, and we had a lovely time in Ohio. And then we hung out with our friend Mac, it was okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink alcohol, so
Does Mac not?
He doesn't.
Really?
Yeah. He proudly proclaims himself a teetotaler.
Boy, that's a really dry group chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Don't just mean the humor, which is not dry at all. It is, in fact, not subtle.
So, anyway, this car was very cool. And you should definitely check it out, but it has wing mirrors or front fender mirrors.
Yeah.
And
that's so hard to describe because it's not that they're fender mounted, but they're also part of the fender.
Yes.
Like, imagine if like the skin of the car had absorbed the mirror.
Yes.
And it's meant for aerodynamics, but the car doesn't go very fast anyways, so
it's quick enough.
All
It's
right.
got the single turbo from like a Z31 300ZX.
Okay, yeah.
So high 200 horsepower.
And
it's small. It
even has Z on the center caps, even though I know that means it's for Zagato.
It's for Zagato, yeah.
Still.
So Nissan wanted to make this car so badly that they purchased like 50% of Zagato to ensure it got made. And then they made like 88 of them.
Yeah.
And most of them are red, and I think a couple were silver, and this is the only blue one.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. So it was exciting. Myron bought this car in Monterey.
Yeah.
During Car Week. everyone that saw it was like, oh, this is a car he would buy. Because his collection, I don't think I'm blowing up his spot, as they would say. I think he's pretty well known online as just a collector of obscure cars, but he had many Porsches over the years, and then he's kind of phased those out and just has acquired weird Japanese cars and interesting cars, and everything has a story. Everything's really cool. Everything's super unique, and it's cool. And so he got this car. I think it's like the newest car he owns.
Yeah,
and it's like a 91 or a 90. But so we got to tour around his warehouse there in the Akron area of Ohio.
It's a pretty amazing collection.
It really is, yeah. He's got like a Silvia that's like a 60s Nissan Silvia.
Whoa.
That's like better than the one in Nissan's museum.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then he let me drive. I drove the Zagato. I mean, I didn't really have a need to drive it because I was shooting, but I did drive it back from the shoot. And it was cool. It was fun. But I rode in the Citroen CX wagon. I think they're all wagons.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. It was so good for doing the car-to-car photography. So I was laying down on the floor, and Myron was driving, and Blake was driving the Nissan. And I was laying down on the floor, and it was the hydraulic suspension was going over the bumps perfectly and just floating. It was, I mean, among the smoothest riding cars I've ever been in, which was perfect for my needs.
Yeah.
It was amazing because I didn't appreciate how smooth it was until like driving on the same roads in the Nissan or riding even on the same roads in like the Suburban. Like he has a Suburban and we took that to dinner.
Yeah.
And even that was just like crashing over these bumps. And it's like, oh wow, the Citroen is really incredible over the bumps. And it was just a cool car. And it was a bit fumey back directly above the muffler when I was laying back shooting to do the car to car, but it was well worth it. And we got some good results.
Yeah.
So it was all in all, it was very fun. I drove his Toyota Crown wagon. It was some year from the 60s.
Yeah.
And it had a 3 on the tree and was right-hand drive.
So you had multiple things to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've related to people. It was basically like if you told me how to like operate like a forklift or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was the same where it's like I'm not really thinking about this as a car that I'm driving. You know,
Yeah.
it's just I'm just like operating these controls.
Yeah.
And focusing on that. And it was cool. It sounded good. And then we were this close to driving his 60s Mazda Cosmo.
Yeah.
He couldn't find the key. He couldn't find the key.
That would have been so cool.
I know. Me and Blake sat in it and made room noises or, smooth.
That's cool enough, like, just to sit in one because that's such a rare car.
It is, yeah.
Where did he get that from?
I think Greece. So
wow. Weird.
I think his family is from Greece or his wife's family is from Greece. And so he spends a lot of time there. They have a house there. And so he had found it there, drove it around there for a while, and then shipped it here because he was like, wanted to drive it here.
Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah. So I think now he has an AZ1 in Greece.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I just like I've never thought about cars in Greece. Like, I mean, maybe like a little Fiat 500 or something like buzzing around, but like an AZ1 or a Cosmo like roaming around Greece is such a cool thing. But
also I have to give credit to him because he's an older gentleman. I don't know his age, and I won't say he's an old man or anything, but he's older than me.
Yeah. And
I love that he's so committed to all these eccentric cars. And I say this because the Cosmo was extremely hard to get in and out of. Like for me, like it was I don't know what it was. I'm used to getting into low cars, but it seemed extra low and extra cramped.
Huh.
And I was like, and he's as tall as me, if not taller, and he finds a way.
That's interesting. Like, and this is a right-hand drive car.
It's right-hand drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was pristine?
Pretty clean.
Okay.
It was in like a dark warehouse. It was dark in the room when I saw it. Like I think it was repainted to like dark blue.
Okay.
And then it has like these mag wheels that are not the normal wheels.
Okay.
They look cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. He had just come from Greece.
Mm-hmm.
He was there for like 4 months. So his when he was gone, one of his daughters took the Stelvio Autech Zagato to Radwood, Detroit.
Yeah.
And won overall.
Of course, yeah.
As you do. But he was out of the country for a little while. And he was in Greece. And then, so he came back the week that we went to shoot with him.
Yeah.
And he, so some of the cars, like, had, like, you know, some trouble firing up. It was just not really.
They just kind of sit.
Yeah.
For a while.
So it was like a little bit too bad. There was more things that we could have explored. I mean, we were there to do a task. That's the other thing. We were there to shoot the Nissan. We weren't there to just like screw around. But it was like, what if we finish now so we could go back and look at all these cars and screw around in the stuff. So,
he he collected these cars over time. Mm-hmm. At least when he started, he wasn't necessarily like a person of means. It just happened to be that right place, right time, right era to buy certain cars in. And he's owned now some pretty exclusive like pieces of history, including the first cabriolet 911. It was a 901
He had a 901 cabriolet prototype, which I saw at Pebble Beach in 2013 on the green. And he was showing it there, and then he sold it, I think, a year later. And, you know, I think made a good sum on that. So he's come across cars and gotten them at the right time. And it's very cool. And then I was reading this story because he has this 914 pickup.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was reading this story because he mentioned, it was in Panorama magazine, PCA magazine. And so I was I'll have to look that up. And I did look it up. And this was just a couple weeks ago, or just this past weekend. I looked it up and I was reading it. And it was interesting to read the story about the car. And also I was curious because they shot in the same location as us. So I wanted to see like how they treated the photos.
Yeah.
But reading the story about it, I was like, oh, this is cool. It was made like these customizers in the 70s in California. They made two 914 pickups, and one of them went to like, you know, someone and is now in the possession of someone. Like one of them was at Luftgekühlt this year.
Oh, really?
And the other one is at Myron's garage.
That's pretty cool.
And and so the story, it's like, you know, they were created this time, and Myron found out about it in the 90s, and he wanted to buy one, and this person, like the collector, wouldn't budge, and then for 15 years, he finally, after 15 years, the guy sold it to him.
Oh, I remember the one at Luftgekühlt. It was sitting like up by a silo or something. Yeah.
And so, it's cool when you know the story. It's like when you walk into this warehouse, it's just all these like weird cars. Yeah. And then it, like when you get the story, it's like, oh, so Blake and I just need to make a book of all the cars and document the history, and then you understand the stories. But
that would be cool to shoot all like that collection just in its entirety.
It would. It is weird you walk in, and I keep saying warehouse, but it's like a series of garages kind of strung together. So it's like there's like there's a garage and then another garage, and each one probably has 15 to 20 cars or something, and it's like 3 of these.
That's a lot of cars.
It's a lot, and you can see how it's kind of a burden.
Yeah, because he doesn't have like staff.
Well, so that's the thing. Here's the thing. So I say it's like, so he has like 3 garages, and then there's a 4th one that is this guy Lynn, who's this old guy who like he basically rents him a space. And Lynn also fixes all his cars. Okay. So it kind of is like I'm not saying he has like a staff, but I mean, he has a guy that works on them and fixes them and knows it. And this guy, and he, you know, told us multiple times that Lynn is a genius, and Lynn has this like racing background and working on drag cars and building his own cars. And Lynn has his own space with his own like car collection and stuff. Yeah. And we talked to him, and he was cool. And he was a nice guy. Like Myron was like, I don't know if I can say this. Myron was like, oh yeah, he might say something racist, but he's just from a different time.
No. Oh God.
But I'll cut that out. But Lynn, like, you know, he's like, oh yeah, we had a hell of a time figuring out how this like Citroen CX worked, but we got it. You know, and then it's like that Citroen CX was owned by Stoddart, like the guy that made like the guy that ran Stoddart, who just passed away recently. Like it was his Citroen CX, and Myron bought it from him because he knows every single person,
of course,
in the industry. So he's got these 3 garages, and what I was getting to is it's weird for me to walk into a room full of cars and I'm just like, I have no idea what any of these cars are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as someone who loves cars and studies cars, and I am generally aware of all the special cars. Yeah. It's like you walk into somewhere and it's like, I have no idea what any of these, they are, what they mean, why they're here.
That is so cool.
It is so cool. But
you collect on that level, yeah.
Yeah. And, absolutely. Everything is obscure and special and unique. He has like a steam-powered Paxton, and it was at the museum, at the Crawford Museum.
I don't even know what that is.
I know. I didn't either, and I still don't really. I would like more of a story about it. But, so it was cool. It was a good day. Yeah. And I emailed. So the story went up. We'll post the link. The story to the Nissan Stelvio Owltech Zagato went up. And I emailed Myron and I said, whenever I've been telling people about this, I say that in a different order. Yeah. Every single time. Yeah. And it sounds right every time. Yep. And he was so nice. He gave me one of the best compliments ever because he said, the pictures look so good. He's like, if Bonhams, which auctioned the car, if they had those photos, he would have had to pay more for it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because it would have gone for more. Yeah. So I thought that was funny.
Because in the Bonhams auction, like, the thumb covering up the license plate was just really in the way.
It was. Yeah. Well, speaking of thumbs covering up the license plate.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about Bring a Trailer.
Yes.
Because we mentioned on the last show all those weeks ago, but you were maybe interested in selling the wagon. Yeah. But you didn't talk specifics, and you're interested in maybe selling the wagon on Bat. Yeah. And because you study and analyze everything to no end. My question about Bat. Yeah. Like, does presentation matter on Bat?
Oh, God. I mean, yes. Like 100%, right? Like, it could add thousands, if not record-breaking amounts of... Yeah, presentation?
I guess. But it seems like certain cars are just always going to be valuable.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's the difference between... It's presentation, but it's also presentation of the owner, as in like how well you're interacting in the auction, etc. So yeah, of course, like if you've got like, if you've got what is like a bulletproof price car that, even 911s I think are even susceptible to like presentation and ownership, kind of, to some extent. I think there was a baseline value.
You sent me that 997 a couple weeks ago. It was silver. Yeah. In Dallas. Yeah. On Bat, and it was shot really well. Yeah. It was shot really well. Yeah.
And the one in the parking garage. It didn't go for that
much.
Yeah, I think
it was like $36,000 or something.
Yeah, I think that one might have been just the common color combination and maybe maintenance, something like
that. Silver and black?
Yeah. Okay, I guess I should correct that. I think less common cars. So like, because we were talking about E46 M3s and how they're like all over the place in terms of value.
Do you think that's a less common car than a 997?
Yes. Like less common on Bat, I should say.
Okay, I'm going to back up.
Yeah.
What originally brought me to this is like, so if you were to get an E39 M5,
yes.
I mean, if it's presented well, like the bottom, could it go lower than 19.5 on Bat?
And the reference to this is that there's an Amolo Red E39 M5 that was listed on Bat and is now listed privately a year after the auction. And
it's the blue one.
It's the blue one. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this one is an Avis blue one. Mm-hmm. There's another one that was Imola red. But this one is Avis blue with I think it's called caramel. The interior. It's this nice kind of like brown
terracotta.
Tan. Yeah, it's not like fleshy tan, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like all day long until it reaches 150,000 miles, it'll probably be $20,000. Or thereabouts. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, possibly.
But, I mean, I'm just asking if, like, I don't see one going for nothing. Like, because we were talking about, if you bought an E39 M5,
yes,
like, it would be so hard to sell In general.
I think it'd be hard to sell
even
because
a well-maintained perfect one because it's like how
it's
many
a
people are in
specific
market?
buyer.
How many people are in the market for this? Like
it's a specific buyer who is
problem time machine
in the
time
market
bomb.
for like the pain of owning one, because you could probably own one in a certain period and it is the most trouble-free car. But then like in an instant it becomes like catastrophically expensive because you have to fix like this and that. So, and I think those cars are probably solid just because there's probably a buyer for every car. I'm sure there are unsold auctions on Bring a Trailer, but I think for a no stories car, that's really, I mean, like when it comes down to it, it probably is that. I mean, if you shoot really shitty photos and you don't interact in the auction, I don't think your car is going to go like very far because people will start hammering on the fact that you're not very responsive and etc.
Right.
Well, it's every dad saying like, "Oh, this guy's not responding, so he must be a real shithead."
Yeah.
But presentation, I think, like, because I keep calling them Fantasy Junction, but it's not Fantasy Junction. It's because they're in NorCal, the Portland guys, 911R. Avant-Garde, really good presentation, really good interaction. Their cars go, I mean, they have really special cars, but they also have very normal cars too. And their auctions go really...
Like that Beetle.
Yeah. They go like, they do pretty well. And I'm sure it's because now they have a reputation, so you can probably bid even without, I mean, you should get a PPI, but you can probably bid without one and you'll be fine. So there is that, I guess. And plus, as we know, paint meters.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the paint meter actually says. If you...
Yeah. No one knows how to read a paint meter.
Yeah.
But if you show the paint meter, people are like, oh.
Add 5,000 to that.
Yeah.
But I think presentation, like maybe that 997 that went for average to below average pricing, maybe it would have done worse because it just wasn't the right time for that car.
Yeah, no, I as someone who doesn't really know the market, I don't know what 997s go for. It seemed low for how well it was presented.
Yeah.
It was really, I really liked how it was shot. It looked good.
I think it sold for just right. It didn't like, it wasn't like an astronomical value. So anyways, back to the original point. Yes, I think I'm going to sell the wagon on Bring a Trailer because I think it's the right market for this particular car.
Absolutely.
So, like a 2-owner, me being the second owner, all records, like no stories, rear-wheel drive manual, BMW wagon. Like they've been selling pretty well on BAT. It's one of 427 ever imported. I think this is the place for it. So
yeah.
And I don't want to have to deal with Craigslist. I would love to just sell, like every car that I've sold in the last couple of years, I've sold in less than a week, probably because I priced them too low. And those cars always had like, the reason why I priced them too low is because, I had to fix, because someone scraped the car, someone dented the car, so I always had to fix something. And so mentally, I always devalue the car far more than potential buyers do. But this one is like a pristine example, very ideal.
Is this your first car that you would sell that didn't have body work done?
Yes, basically. Amazingly so, yeah. Like, and this one has very few flaws. I think it has like one very slight indentation mark on the rear bumper from someone like nudging it parallel parking, and that's really like the only flaw, and you can barely see that. So yeah, and I'm still looking for likely an E46 M3. So we'll see where that goes. The problem is, and like we were talking in the last podcast, like there's a premium for completely stock, which is what I want, and everything is modified. So there's one that I'm looking at that's we're negotiating and it's coming down. It's more modified than I'd like it to be with, it's got, adjustable coilovers. It's got HREs. It's got Sprint Sport exhaust, which too aggressive for me. So there's going to be some undoing if I do get this car, which I don't want to have to do. But the price is starting in our negotiation. It's kind of starting to get where I'm kind of comfortable with it. So we'll see. We were talking about like we could potentially undo some of this stuff ourselves. I mean, obviously the wheels are easy. We could do suspension, maybe. I've never done suspension.
I've done it. We could do it.
I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of
Just
being
don't worry
impaled by the
fine.
spring.
Don't worry about it.
Or maybe I just keep them. I mean, I can just adjust them to a slightly less aggressive.
All I'm saying is if you got everything else stock,
Yeah.
when you go to sell,
Yeah.
I would put the suspension to stock, because I think there's a difference. Because you are becoming either it's a stock M3 that has always been stock as far as people know, or you were in the group of modded M3s, which, as you pointed out, is 75% of the market.
Yeah. And I like it, me as a buyer, like it already gives me pause. And so again, it's not that adjustable suspension is a bad thing.
No.
It's just not for me. And if I'm looking for a car, I want it pretty much to be like, if there are any modifications, it is just more along the lines of like an IMS upgrade or something.
Yeah.
And
well, there's something to be said for approaching a car like you were coming at it from the perspective of someone who's, I want the E46 M3 experience.
Yeah,
I want to experience the M3. I want what the factory turned out. And if you say, okay, I've driven it for a year, I don't like this and this and this, and I want to change this and I want to upgrade this, like that's totally fine. But if you don't get the chance to have it as it is out of the box, like, that's when you go and that's when you change suspension and stuff. But you should experience how it was meant to be experienced.
I agree. And I'm an appreciator of an original experience. Not to say that those can't be improved by any means, but like with this car especially, like this is not like a grail car for me. Like I think it's just an interesting car that I can use as a daily. And I think there are other cars out of the box that are already tuned, like from the factory, the way that, if I wanted it to be more aggressive, I might as well just spend money on buying that out of the box instead of, adjusting this one, because while I'm hoping that I might fall in love with this car, I don't know that I will. But I find it to be really interesting.
What do you say by cars that are tuned? Like
not tuned, I'm sorry, but rather just like it's set up from the factory, like
car?
Like a 911. Like
okay.
I enjoy the ride quality of that car. I'm fine with how that is set up out of the box. I don't plan on tracking anything, but it is just tight enough, basically. And the E46 M3, I think by modern standards, I think some people call it firm, but I actually don't think it's firm at all. I think it's on the softer side. And I actually would appreciate from a stock standpoint, and I kind of appreciate that as a city driver. And it has kind of a slow steering rack as well, and in test driving a bunch of them, like I could feel that, but that's fine. I mean, like again, I'm not tracking this. Like I'll drive it aggressively, like on occasion, like, and that's the whole point. It's like around the city when there is an opportunity, I might like get on it a little bit. And a slow steering rack isn't gonna make a big difference, but like I will benchmark I'll benchmark like an aggressive city driver with a 911, and everything else, like I feel like I would have to build up to get it to that point.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I know you were interested I know you were on and off interested, but what does the E36 M3 market look like? And does that appeal to you?
Not anywhere close as far as a daily driver. I thought about that as like a kind of fun second weekend car, to kind of companion the 86 Carrera, but it's too old. Like I think it's too fragile and too old. Much like the Carrera, which is an 86, the Celsior, which is a 92, and like a 95 to 97 M5 would not be ideal, I don't think. I think it'd melt in the sun, first of all, in the Texas heat. Like, we'll just do a number on these old cars. And I don't think it'd be comfortable. Like, I think it'd be too rattly. Like, I think that E46 is generations ahead in terms of, like, build quality.
The car itself, Well, and from what I've seen, like you'd pay the same price for a good E36 as for a good E46.
Oh yeah,
and you're getting way less car.
15 to 20 gets you like a really good E36. And I'd get a sedan, but like I don't. It's too old. So for dailying, like definitely for a second weekend. But now that's like my like you've seen like the ebbs and flows of my interest, like because I still want to get like a 2-door G-Wagon, but now that's probably on hold.
Yeah.
And the one listed on Bring a Trailer to not that long ago, maybe like a few days ago. It's a cabriolet though, but it's like an old one.
Ooh.
But I'm kind of into like the more you can de-emphasize any bling to it, like I'm all about it. Like it.
Yeah.
But again, so basically, I'm checking off things in that garage list when there was that opportunity to get that 20 by 50 garage space. I'm checking off the cars, except that instead of an E36 M3, it'll be an E46 M3. So I don't know.
All right. Hopefully we'll have an update next time.
Maybe, because I will be going to Japan for 2 weeks, starting Monday, which is in a few days from now. And
if you're listening to this, 4.5 weeks in the past.
And here, like, I'm trying to like negotiate on like cars, like literally 4 days before I have to leave for 2 weeks on an international trip. And this is giving me so much anxiety.
No, it's fine. I'll help you out. I'll store it. I'll drive it.
Oh my God. I did tell, like, if I did get this car, like Kevin is without a daily currently. So I said, just use this car for 2 weeks while I'm out. And that'd be fine because it'd be weird because I would then have 4 cars, 3 of which need to sit basically almost on the street.
We haven't talked about your garage situation. Do you want to touch on that?
I don't think I do, really. Okay. Yeah. I will say, though, that I'm returning to my original garage situation.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I know. Because today...
This is a podcast bombshell.
I know. Because I was not happy with the rates that the garage I had increased to, and so out of principle I decided to leave and go to another garage, and this other garage is not quite it's pretty shitty, and so I think I'm gonna forego that one and go back to where I was. And I've gotten it less than what I was paying before, so
you're gonna do the 1 unit again, or 1 unit, or not 2?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know yet. So, we'll see. But, so, no real updates on that otherwise. So, I don't know when I'm going to get to preparing getting a car ready for sale is just, it's just so much trouble.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to do it right. Because I wish I had like the fortitude. I wish I had the fortitude to put up a shitty Craigslist like ad and just try to sell a car with Dutch angles, like most of the car cropped out, upside down interior photos with like trash in it, because it'd be amazing, but I can't. So I think I probably spend 8 hours documenting and writing up ads for cars whenever I sell them.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I do sell them very quickly, so there is that. But I also might price them a little too cheap.
Yeah.
So
well, BAT will fix that.
BAT will fix that.
The market
hopefully,
will price it how it prices it.
Oh God, that's scary. And I don't know when to sell the car too. Like that's the thing. Like we're coming up to the holidays, and I don't know what that means. If that's a good or a bad thing, or doesn't mean anything. So, like if I wish it were summer. That'd be great. I guess I could keep the car till summer and see what happens. But then I was thinking about getting another wagon, so I should have 5 cars.
Yeah,
two of the same car.
Of the same.
So yeah. To recap that comment, we were talking in the last podcast. I was thinking about getting the same car, but one that is
all-wheel drive.
Yeah, basically one that is less ideal because I don't care. Like, for me, I don't care if this car had twice the miles, and at this point, like, I love this rear-wheel drive and manual, but it's not a performance car, and honestly, on a day-to-day basis, I wouldn't care now if this were an auto and all-wheel drive. And so why keep a car that's worth twice what an all-wheel drive automatic version, manual hopefully, but one would be. So I'm thinking about selling this one, buying the M3, and then also getting a cheaper high mileage version of this exact same car.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see. I'm excited. I will help you
crazy.
with the ad, and it'll be exciting.
Oh God, yeah. So I'm excited too.
Remember, I sold my wheels on.
You
that?
did. You shot it in the storage space.
I did.
Yeah. And you got an exactly average price for it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
I could have put them, but I could have just put
Also, you sold them in a week, so that's the best case scenario.
That is the best case.
That's probably one of the best things about BAT, other than like potentially
that's
getting.
what I was thinking about the M5. Like, if you got the M5, I think it would be hard to sell like on conventional sales things.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we were talking about.
Because I just wonder how many people are in the market for an M5.
Especially an E39 M5. Like, I mean, if you're looking for a $10,000 one, I don't think it matters. Like, you're just
right.
Yeah.
But the type of person who's looking for a good, well-maintained one.
Yeah. The problem is, like, I think the market, like, if you're buying one that's at $20,000, $20,000, I'll say. Like, $20,000 is, like, I think the entry point for good condition, high mileage ones. High mileage being, like, about 100,000 miles. And I think at that point, you get into the point where it's too expensive for someone who just wants a cheap, fancy car.
Yeah.
And you're also at a point where it's not like a museum quality car either.
It's literally, I know what I have.
It's this really weird middle place where you just really want this car, but you don't want to pay a premium, but also you want like a decent example. Yeah. So, I don't know. The idea is really, really enticing. Like, I would love that's a grail car for me. Yeah. E39 M5, and I wish I had the fortitude and the love for that car. It's a grail car, but I have other cars that I'd rather own first.
Sure.
To put money into, and I feel like that's gonna be a money pit. And I told you about like the friend of mine here who dailied one. I think he had like 140,000 miles on it before he gave it up because all the curtain bags blew while he was driving it, and he was like, I'm
happen
good.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I'm undeterred by that. I am deterred, however, by like if I could find one with all the maintenance done, like the expensive maintenance done to it, all day long. Like vanos, rod bearings, whatever. Like if all that stuff is done, I'd be into owning that for a little while. But I don't want to be the guy that has to do it all. So so that's that. Meanwhile, you too are looking for a daily driver that on BAT does surprisingly well. The LS400. Yeah,
but
first gens are like even I think the cheapest one went for $8,000 and it had like almost 90,000, 80,000 miles, something like that.
But that like in the real market, the non-BAT market, that's considered like extremely low miles.
That's extremely low miles, and normally that'd be like a $4,000 car. I feel like
maybe
I just sent you that one, that 75,000 mile one for 4,900 or something. But it's crazy, absolutely insane that I think the most expensive one, it was like a 92, sold for 25 grand.
Yeah.
And several other have sold for 20 plus. So that's insane. And there's one every single week too, I feel like.
Wow.
But you're not looking for the museum quality that these people are paying for.
Not.
Yeah.
I guess
because
not.
you don't need to. It's the same notion for me, like the wagon. Like you don't need this like perfect example.
Yeah, I want like a good one that'll last. But
you want a good one
outside. Like it's gonna be. It's gonna get Houston sun. You know, let's be real.
Yeah, you want like a good example, and you want like a slice of that like, basically unbreakable reputation.
But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking based on our previous discussion, which we shouldn't dwell on too much,
Yes.
the Celsior appeals to me in a way that is unique from an LS400.
I agree.
And the Sport Cross appeals for me.
I agree.
But I don't know if an LS is appealing so much. I don't know. I hate that this is on a record now. But,
well,
that's what I will get. But
I agree.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I think an LS is interesting, and I've thought about one as a like cheap daily.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. Like, if the Celsior is available to you, which one is potentially available to you for sale, go for the Celsior all day long.
Totally.
Like, I know, don't at me, but like right-hand drive is a sense of occasion, like experience. Like, you'll be surprised, like what a normal car will feel like when you're driving, granted on the wrong side of the road, but it's just that your brain, there's a little bit of excitement. There's like, your brain will adjust. It'll feel normal, but you always get the sense that something is different about this car. And that's what you should want in any car. Like,
totally.
Even when you're in 5 miles an hour, like that it feels different is good.
It's funny. I drove your Celsior a few weeks ago when your 911 broke down, and I had to move it, and I drove it around the block and parked it.
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought, oh, I'll be getting used to this because I'll be getting in an LS400 soon that will be my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was not the case, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah. It's just different.
It is.
And you'll be used, since your key on the left situation. It's key on the right, except that it's a mirror situation. It's next to the door.
Wow.
So
I get it.
Oh my God. It was done for Le Mans purposes as well, clearly. Anyways.
So, I got some new tires.
Oh, yeah.
And I only wanted to share this because you helped me in my photo shoot.
Yeah.
It was a Toyo tire. They wanted me to do a photo thing.
Yep.
And they had some stipulations.
Yep.
And I made a blog about this because I really thought it was a cool, creative challenge. They said, oh, by the way, you've got to be in one of the pictures.
Yeah.
And I don't work that way.
Yeah.
So I asked if you would help me out and take some pictures, and you did, and it came out great. And we had a good little photo session because it was like perfect, amazing light.
Yeah, it was
at
good
our
light.
favorite location.
Yeah.
And so it was cool. And I creatively, they didn't ask me to like feature the tires or anything, but I wanted to creatively like do something to show that. But I was happy with what we got. It was fun.
Yeah, we captured the machine capturer.
Yeah.
And how do you like the tires?
They're good. They're really sticky. Like they're probably comparable to what you're running, but they're a lot stickier than what I had before. Because I had Michelin's. Again, the same thing we were talking about the M3. Like, I wanted to know what it was like.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what it was supposed to be out of the box when the car was new. And so I've probably talked about this before, but Porsche puts out a PDF and they have like every tire recommendation for every car they've ever made. So if you have a 356 Speedster, you can refer to this and say, these are the tires that are currently made that are going to be the closest to what the original intent was.
Yeah.
And so I got the Michelins that were on that list for my car. And I have no regrets, and they were a well-made tire and very good. And they never, I had a few, I've had a few moments of low grip with them, but it was never like sudden or shocking or anything. It was always like if it was like the road was cold or the tires were cold or whatever. But they lasted like 20,000 miles. And so now these tires are much stickier and probably will last half that, but I'm totally happy with that. And it's great. It is crazy. Like I'll be in first and, be turning right onto a road and I'll give it whatever and it'll be greasy out and it just sticks. Like it just, everything I do, like it just, there's never a sound. It's sticky. It's really different.
I hadn't ever considered Toyos. I actually wanted to try the Michelins, and I've got Continental Extreme contacts on, and actually I like them. But yeah, I'd never considered Toyos before, and I mean, I'm glad to hear that they are good tires.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you get into like a certain, I'm reaching the limit of what I know really about tires.
Yeah.
And I haven't considered all the ones available for our cars, but I think there are certain tiers of performance versus other factors.
How's the progressive breakaway?
Well, there's no breakaway now, so
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
no
know.
breakaway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, excellent.
Yeah.
And they look good. Like it's a very modern.
It is modern
tread.
It is
pattern.
a modern tread.
So and yeah, that's maybe visually not necessarily a mismatch. It's just very different. Like I like a good classic pattern.
I like a good classic pattern too.
Yeah.
This is a little more modern. Usually you don't see it, but yeah, if you turn the wheel and park, you'll see it.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, that probably is part of what contributes to how sticky it is that it is designed in a way to be engineered more ideally for what it's supposed to do. Yeah. Yeah. So I did get I put Pilot Sport they're summer tires, but they're called like AS4s or A4. I forget what they're called. But anyways,
PS4s?
They're PS4s.
Oh, that's good. That's not all season at all. That's like
No. Yeah, they're summer tires, but there's a 4 in it, and a lot of people mistake it for like 4 seasons.
Oh no.
Yeah. And because these replaced the Pilot Sport Super Sports.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of the name. I forget what they were called, but anyways, I really like them on the wagon, but they're really sticky. And they're also brand new. But it was raining today, and I got the wagon to wiggle a little bit. Because truth be told, like the wagon doesn't have enough power to, like in the 330i, I could get the tail out pretty easily. In this car, it's a little bit harder, and I don't know if also it's the traction control program is a little more aggressive because I don't turn off traction all the way.
It's also like a 6-year newer car, right?
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, even though it's the same model. But I basically, like, because I'm not going to be completely stupid, and I'm not entirely confident in my ability to control the car in a situation where there are people around. And so, not that I'm doing this when someone's coming at me, but so I'll turn off one level of traction and just get the tail out for fun every once in a while. But it's really hard in the wagon. I think I don't think there's enough power. Also, I'm not getting enough speed. Whatever. Anyways, this is just doing like 20 mile an hour like tail wiggles, so it's not a big thing. But yeah, new tires. Always a little bit hard to break them in. And
yeah, well, I had to go to Austin and back, and this is my only car now, so I did have to drive to Austin and back, so I broke them in, definitely.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
Speaking of 97.
Yes. Should we?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wow.
All right. Hang on. Let us... Pulling up pornography. Sorry, on accident here. So,
see, now I'm farther from the screen. I can't read it.
Oh, God.
I can read it. Ish. Oh, my God. I'll just refer to my computer.
Oh, my God. You really do need glasses.
Shut up.
Look, I'm zooming in, Grandpa.
You just zoomed out.
Whatever.
Okay, I've got it. It's fine. I've got it.
It's too late. I've enlarged it on our podcast screen here. So we're doing Fuch, marry, kill. All right. That's enough. There's no cough button.
Okay, so this is Fuch, marry, kill. So this is the thing where we, after a long hiatus, we look at cars introduced in a year. We compare them, and then we choose cars for each other or something like that.
Yeah, well, we either choose them for ourselves or for the other person. Why don't we do the other person again?
Yeah, we'll do the other person. So the Acura EL, number 1, I just looked it up. It's literally like the pre-96 Accord.
What? Hang on.
Probably for Canada. Here. No, I've clicked it.
Well, I haven't.
It was a Canada thing.
Wait, it looks like a Civic.
No, that's the Accord.
No, look. The EL is a badge engineered Honda Civic.
Oh, wow. The back is Civic, and the front looks like an Accord. Okay.
Duh.
Wow. All right.
That's basically a ILX.
Yeah.
The first ILX. Look at that. Heritage Edition. Oh, the 156 looks cool.
Yeah.
Bad
cool.
to drive, as I recall, on Top Gear.
Ooh.
Yep. Pronounce that.
Skigera.
Skigera.
I remember that from Need for Speed.
Look at that. That's actually interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like the headlights. Or the lack thereof.
Alpha Sportut.
Sportut.
No picture. Don't click it.
Sportut.
No picture. We're not cutting it.
Ooh.
Bentley Turbo
They all look
RT.
the same. And R makes it sound so aggressive, but
Yeah.
I think it just needed a turbo to like move the heft.
Yeah, well, it's got that 6 3/4.
Yeah. Oh wait, R stood for road handling.
Jesus, that's terrible. Wow.
Wow, I can only imagine. E46 came out in 97
Ooh.
for the rest of the world. We didn't get it until 98.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a lot of Daewoo's and Daihatsus we're going to skip through. And the Dodge Durango.
Wait, I had a Daewoo VCR and...
I had a Daewoo television.
Do you remember the Lanos, the Laganza, the
I do remember. Yeah.
Wow, we didn't get that. We did get the Dodge Durango.
We did. We got those Daewoo's.
Yeah. I actually, back in the day, a friend of mine in high school, as his first car, got a Durango RT, which I thought was fancy back in the day.
A guy that worked with my dad got a Durango, and he complained because he got like 11 miles to the gallon. But it's not even that big.
It's not even that big, and also it like in Chrysler like tradition, like my friend had the transmission replaced like 1 year in.
The crazy thing is, I think the tailgate and the taillights are from the Caravan.
I think you are right.
I think we figured, like, I literally learned that like 6 months ago, probably during this podcast.
Oh my God.
Like, I think I learned that very recently.
Wow. Okay.
Do you remember, just a little bit of backtrack?
Yes.
Like, when the X5 came out, like, BMW, like, so aggressively didn't want it to look like a minivan because of the ML class.
Yeah.
Like the ML, like the rear kind of looked like minivan. I don't think it does now, but I think at the time it looked like that. Also back then there
it was very
minivans.
like tall
looking.
And now I think the original ML like came out in 98 looks really good.
I think it does too.
And the first X5, I remember when that came out, it was so controversial and I didn't like it when it came out. And now
I liked it.
I didn't like it. And
but it's got they to not have the minivan thing, they had like the really steep angle back.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a tall version of their wagons.
Yeah.
Like it basically,
everything you love about the E39's reliability.
Yeah.
On the X5.
Built in. Oh my God. Side note, even though we're in the middle of a game here, I guess, in my head, because I will play this game also where I will think, maybe I could own, say, a 4.8 IS X5.
Yes.
Oh my God. That would be, I would daylate that. But like the forums are ablaze. There's not even one thread. You know how there is always like a commenter in a forum post about common problems or like reliability is like,
sure.
I've never had a problem in like 10 years. But like there's no such thing for a 4.8 IS. It is all bad.
Wow.
But it's such a cool like SUV.
Cool. It's got those meats.
It's got those meats and the quad exhaust, and it sounds good.
Okay, so there's a Fiat we've never seen.
Oh,
not good.
I didn't know there's a Ranger EV, which sounds actually like it would be kind of cool, but probably really bad.
It probably has a range of like 8 miles.
Yeah.
But what is the range?
It was lead acid. I forgot that was a thing.
When I search the page for range, 62 matches come up because it's called the Ranger.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I forgot that lead acid, like that was the technology. No wonder, like, no wonder nothing. I mean, I guess I just forget like how like antiquated the technology was back then before lithium ion.
Yeah.
And how limited the range was as a result.
I think the range was about 65 miles.
I mean, that makes sense.
Okay, you skipped over the Puma.
The Puma,
I adore.
The Puma's good.
Have you ever seen the logo?
I probably have, and I don't recall. Oh, yeah, that's right. Look at that.
It's so cool.
It's like a little script with a Puma silhouette on it.
It's so good.
The reason why the Puma is ingrained in my mind, of course, like I think for many other enthusiasts, is the Tiff Needell.
Tiff Needell, yeah.
Yeah, when he was showing car control stuff.
It won their Car of the Year in like 97, which is this year.
We never got it here.
And no, we didn't. But they like, he was sliding it. It was incredible.
It was pretty cool.
Old Top Gear.
Yeah, old Top Gear. We didn't get the Holden Commodore.
We did not. Did we get the 6th generation Accord? I think we did.
We did.
It looked like that Acura EL. Civic Type R. Did you see?
Which we didn't get.
Wait, so someone sent me. There is a Civic Type R for sale in like Corpus Christi, like a real one, like a real '97 Civic Type R.
Oh wow, that's cool. Wait, how?
I don't know. It's like $18,000 and it looks awesome.
I feel like that's one step away from being impounding crush or it's fake.
Yeah, it's awesome though.
That is cool.
Yeah,
that is cool. If somehow that can be. Look at these 3 Hyundais that we did not get. And all of them terrible.
Okay, I'll read the names so we're not just looking at pictures on the internet.
Hyundai.
Atos, Hyundai Santro, and Hyundai Star X. These are all brands of condoms.
These are my anime sons.
Ooh, the Via Cross.
Ooh, the Via Cross came out then.
Ooh.
I remember this specifically in the movie, the astronaut movie.
What?
Oh.
Okay, well... You don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever. Okay.
Should I get a Via Cross?
Should you get an Izuagu?
What if I got a Via Cross?
I mean,
it's a coupe.
I will never say no to
It's a coupe. I have a friend.
In terms of getting a Via Cross. No,
I have a
yes,
friend,
you should get it.
and that was his first car.
A Via Cross?
Yeah.
I say that with outrage as if it were like a $90,000 car, but it was probably like $20,000.
I think it was like 35 or
really?
Something.
Holy shit. Wait, no. Let's see. I'm going to click on this. Let's see. I don't even know if Wikipedia will tell you if... It was made till 2001?
Okay, at a base price of $29,000.
That's pretty expensive. Especially in 97.
Well, so my friend... so only like 6,000 were made globally. But my friend, his was totaled when he got into like a minor fender bender. Like someone hit him and it was totaled because the bodywork's so rare and expensive.
Oh, that makes sense. I wonder if it's still extremely expensive to like insure.
It might be.
Probably. Anyways, moving on. All right. Are you yawning literally right into the microphone?
I'll cut that out.
The Jaguar XJ, the X308, I know no Jaguar codes, but I remember this. This was the start of...
This was the start of the V8s?
Of the V8s, and I think the better Jaguar, modern Jaguar styling, although now I'm warming up to the classic ones. So, the pre...
This is not modern Jaguar styling.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure you saw the picture.
That's all I have to say. Yes, it is. Freelander.
The first Defender. This looks just like the new Defender, but there it is.
Wait, where did you get Defender?
No, I said the Freelander.
You said Defender.
I know. It looks like the Defender.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like the new Defender.
I like the new Defender.
I don't.
Wait, was this the one that was Ford Escape shared as well?
Yes.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay. You gotta admit, like, the 2-door version was kind of cool. Pre-facelift.
Yeah.
Freelander.
That was the Free 90.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, this one is US. I was like, why is there in the Wikipedia one, there's like one with plastered with an American flag on it, which, Lincoln Navigator. So that friend who got the Durango RT, I remember his mother bought a Lincoln Navigator first year. And I remember thinking how hideous that thing was.
It really was. Remember
the taillight?
Remember how shockingly ugly the taillights were?
Huge.
They're huge, and it looked like the family truckster in the original Vacation movie.
Oh my god! And I remember inside because it had quad captain seats. Because when you remove a third useful seat, what are you going to fill it with? But like a huge binnacle, and it looked like a toilet because it was the size of a seat that they had to fill. It was so stupid. Anyways, bad car.
NB Miata.
NB Miata.
Have you driven one?
I did. Jesse had. No, he had an NC. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, he had an NC. The A Classe, which we did not get. CLK. Oh, really? Oh, okay. The CLK was bad car though.
The ML that we were talking about.
First gen ML. Although that was the rest of the world. I think we got the 98.
Well, it was in the Jurassic Park movie in like 97. So it was at least sold here in 97.
Yeah, probably sold here, but I think it was a 98 was the first American or U.S. market.
Old model year.
Yeah.
Sure. But I think it came in like at least summer of 97.
We did not get the Mitsubishi Frika.
We didn't get the Nissan L Grand or
the
Nissan
Renessa. I'm sorry. R apostrophe Nessa. This is my daughter.
The Ultimobile Intrigue.
Oh, do you remember the launch of this car?
No.
Okay, I do because the X-Files movie, I think, was released this year, or 97, and it was sponsored or like product placed. Was the Intrigue. Like, I think Mulder drove.
Well, they all drove like the worst malaise rental cars.
Because there was the point, like they were government employees, so they had to drive.
Well, and they were traveling and renting on like government budgets. They rented the worst cars ever.
Yeah.
That was the campaign? Do you remember that movie? Do you remember the bees? Do you remember the bees had nothing to do? Like, ultimately, the bees didn't matter.
No, what were the bees?
There were bees. X-Files movie.
Oh, I was like, bees? What does it have to do with the Oldsmobile? Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the bees didn't matter. Let's move. The Plymouth Prowler. Do you think the trailers have model years?
I don't know. Well, I think they were like model colors because I think with the Prowler, it's like every year they offered like one and or two colors. I think some years they offered one and some years they offered two. So it's like there's a red one in this thumbnail. So it's like, oh, that's got to be an 01. You know what I mean?
I hope there's an entry for the trailer here.
Did you see
Prowler with trailer? It says Prowler with trailer. Due to limited trunk space, a $5,000 Prowler trailer option was available from Chrysler dealers.
There's still $5,000, by the way, because I've looked on Craigslist. Imagine if I towed a Prowler trailer behind a Sport Cross.
That would be absolutely amazing. The trailer hitch was only to be used with the trailer. If you hooked anything else up to it, the factory would be void. How would they know?
There was a video this week. I don't know if you saw it, but it was a YouTube channel. I think it was the Straight Pipes. I assume it's some straight guys doing some car stuff, and they had a. I say that like I'm not a straight guy. Now I'm very self-conscious about this. I'll cut this out.
This seems to be.
They had one of them bought a Prowler.
Oh god!
On this YouTube channel, and it was a Prowler, and he had his like 6-month update with the Prowler, and he made a video about it, and it was a good video. The suspension is very cool, and the handling seemed good.
The idea of it is very cool. The problem surrounds the ownership.
Yeah.
The people who buy the cars.
We just need more young people to ironically buy them.
Also, it has a minivan engine, but that's fine.
And transmission.
Oh, yeah, auto stick only.
Auto stick only.
So, other than that, it's pretty shitty still.
So, SOP 9.5.
SOP 9.5.
Is that a good one?
That's a good one.
That's
the first one. Yeah, but it was... it
was the first GM one?
It's Saab 9.5 is all new. All new for 9.5. Because before that was... It was a GM one. Because before that was a 9000, which was... Actually, no, also shared with like an Opels. So this was also Opel and Vauxhall shared. But this one actually has a really faultless design. Like, I think it's genuinely really good looking. There was the Arrow with like cool ass weird Saab wheels. Like, it was still good Saab, even though it was GM Saab. All right, Seat.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the wheels. Yeah.
Those are the wheels. They're good.
Those are good wheels. The Ssangyong chairman. I like that. Wow, that is such a name for a car. Oh. It looks like a Mercedes. It looks like the S-Class before the S-Class was the S-Class.
Well, it's showing the most recent one.
Oh, that's true. So this is like a 2019.
All right, so we're gonna skip to the Subaru Forester.
Oh yeah, the first one.
Very significant.
Yeah, actually, the first gen is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Base form, and this is when I think of Subaru, I think of like first gen Foresters that are like beat up and rusted out, but they're still going at like 500,000 miles.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. Oh, this is the first Avensis. The Avensis is the basis for the HS250H.
Ooh,
yeah.
And the Harrier, which was the RX 300.
That's RX, yeah. So that's so funny. We never think about that, but the LS 400 was really the only designed for America Lexus. Everything else was a JDM car rebadged for America. The Soarer was the SC.
Aristo.
The Aristo was the GS. The Harrier, was the RX. They weren't necessarily like luxury-oriented design cars. They just happened to be nicer Toyotas, rebadged for us simpletons here. So we've been driving JDM cars all along and never knew it. The Toyota Prius.
The first one.
First one.
Non-serviceable.
Non-serviceable.
Just like mine.
Yeah.
Mine was also non-serviceable.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Why are there two? The XW10. So there were two. There's
two
one.
entries. I think one is just a specific entry.
So, yeah, there was the
I
one.
think this page needs cleaning up. Broom icon.
And we had like this weird like nerd argument about like what generation is actually valid for the Prius, because there was one for the JDM market only that was technically the first gen, and then the second gen is what we got as a first gen, that
What?
4-door one. There was one that was like a 2-door, like Yaris based thing, and that was technically the very first.
I've never
Prius.
heard of it or seen it.
Um,
Oh, wait. Is it this? That's 4 doors?
no, that's still the blah blah.
Okay.
I'll find it at some point. Oh wait, no, maybe you're right. Yeah, no, that is it. That's the NHW10 versus the NHW 11. So there, whatever. I think it's the same generation. Okay, the Toyota RAL.
Okay, well, we've wasted a lot of time on that.
Look at the Sienna. During the same time as the Previa.
Well, this was replacing the Previa.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember the
You're
Previa?
right.
Do you remember? I remember, like, because my parents would watch 2020, and I remember the Previa on 2020.
It got a very bad review on crash testing.
On the offset crash test. Like,
And the guy, it was okay. I remember this very distinctly because I like
do I.
even when I was a kid, and this is so like dumb, but I liked the Previa. A friend of mine, his dad had one. I was like, wow, this is like a really weird, cool van.
yeah.
And I remember watching that 2020. I remember telling him, hey, Steven, turn on your TV. They're talking about your dad's car. And the guy, the IIHS like director was like, it did very poorly. And I have one.
and I'm not going to have one next week.
Like, it was really funny.
It did really badly, and like it was like the gas pedal like broke the ankle of the dummy like in the crash.
Yeah, because it makes sense because the only thing in front of you is the headlight. Like you are the crumple zone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just bad. There's no engine to offset like anything. So yeah, but it's still cool and people like revere it now. I revere it. If I had an ultimate car collection, there would definitely be some Previas in there. So
Multiple Previas.
multiple. There are different versions. You have to have all the versions. You can't just get one. Don't be ridiculous. Okay.
Multiple.
They're different ones.
Okay.
All right.
So that's the Sienna. So we got the Volkswagen Golf Mark IV.
Mark IV.
Beautiful Golf. For some reason, it doesn't seem like it fits in with any of these like bubble blob cars.
No, it was like
know,
a nice, tight, small, lightweight, like
it's
car.
a good design.
Yeah. The Jetta. Well, but that was for China, I guess. There was a
Don't worry
different
about
one.
it. Don't click. Okay.
And the
C70.
Volvo goes sexy.
It's a good Volvo.
That was the headline in Car and Driver. I remember getting that issue as a kid in '97.
And saying, my ears. My friggin' ears.
Yes. It was the gold color.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The good gold. It was like an orangey gold or something.
I remember the press photos of that car were amazing.
And it was, Car and Driver's headline. It was a cover photo. Volvo goes sexy. And it was like, it was such a good looking, like, coupe.
Oh, can I give you my C70 story?
Yeah.
So this is like 4 or 5 years ago. I had a press car NC Miata. And friend of the pod, Will, was he visited my house, and he had his NA Miata. So we had 2 red Miatas in the driveway. And so this lady from down the street, she had a C70 convertible, and it was white. And she drove down the street and then like pulled in the driveway. It was like, I see you guys like convertibles. Are you interested in buying mine?
What?
I was like, no, sorry.
Hello, fellow convertible enthusiasts.
Yeah, convertible enthusiast. Take a look at the C70 convertible.
It's really cool.
It's really cool. I can see we are all common enthusiasts.
Wait,
here.
was it the rag top or was it the hard top?
It was the rag top.
Okay.
It was that generation. It was that first generation.
Actually, that one was not bad looking. I would never buy one, but
I would never buy one, and I would never buy the convertible.
Yeah.
I would want the coupe.
And yeah, but the hard top would have been even worse.
Why would you buy the coupe though?
It was cool. It was good looking.
I'm an executive boringman.
Yes, it came out of manual.
Oh God.
You could get a 5-cylinder. I don't know. Anyways, it was cool. All right.
All right.
All right. That's the end of the list, and that we took a long time on that. So,
I'll not cut this out. All right. So FMK. Let's do like good ones. Let's do good ones for each other because we always like fuck each other over with really bad ones.
You know what I'm gonna do? Okay, I have mines. But you go first.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm not gonna pick good ones. Okay. Wait. Okay. Wait.
You're taking a long time.
All right. Okay. E46. NC Miata. Or NB Miata. Sorry. And Prowler.
Boy.
So FMK. So what are you gonna?
F the Prowler. Sorry, no. I'm gonna kill the Prowler, obviously.
What the fuck?
I forgot that was a choice.
Oh God.
Marry the E46 because I could live with that. F. What was the other one?
The MX-5.
Yeah, that's good.
You're not taking this seriously. Fine.
I'll F the Miata because, like, while I like the Miata, I don't think I would live with one. So.
You wouldn't want to drive the Prowler just once? Therefore, effing it?
No. No one should ever drive the Prowler ever once.
Oh
my God.
I would love to.
Hey, you know what's weird in this list, by the way? There are very few American cars that came out in 97.
Yeah.
Like, very few. It's a lot of Japanese cars. Very few.
The Intrigue.
Yeah, that's true. All right. For you, I ask, would you... Okay. I am going to do the Daewoo Nubira, the Ford Ranger EV, and the Vehicross. Tough choices.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you didn't choose. Okay. You did choose good ones. I would... I hate to be close-minded here. I would F the Ranger EV because it would probably only last one charge. I would kill the Daewoo because I'm just not the biggest Nubira fan. And I would daily that Vehicross all day long.
Oh my God, that's the right choice.
Obviously.
Excellent.
All right.
I hope we all learned something. Anyways, that's a good podcast. Thank you for listening.
It's a podcast.
Yeah. It's a podcast. Sorry for qualifying that with good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you the next time. Thanks for listening, and follow us on at New496 on Instagram, and please don't email us at New496 spelled out
of course
at gmail.com.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.